Hey guys,
I'm Nichola.
I'm Hugh.
And this is the My Korean Husband YouTube channel. And for this video, we're going to talk about how do we make our marriage work.
Yeah, work well, play hard.
Of course, marriage is hard, but people are even more critical of international, intercultural marriages, right?
Yes.
You hear so many negative things and you have people judge you in ways that other couples are not judged. We get a lot of emails and messages from people needing advice on their own international relationships, and we're really happy to answer them, but I sort of realized we don't talk as much about like our relationship and how we deal with things. So I wanted to talk about that today. It's also interesting the way people perceive you on camera, because sometimes we have comments about that we're not really like lovey-dovey, touchy feeling like that. Like if people look at like
a lot.
Yeah, just not on camera. For you, you are a Korean guy and you're not really young anymore. So you're of this generation where you don't show as much affection like that publicly.
Not really.
Yeah, but off camera is a different story.
You want me to show?
No. So I think the biggest thing that we aim to do with our marriage is to be bicultural, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so what does that mean?
Not one side. Like I don't ask you to only learn Korean culture. I try to learn your culture as well, because that's the bi-culture, right?
Yeah,
so not only one side.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's respecting both cultures.
Yeah, respecting.
And coming together. And of course you can't just do 50-50 usually. Usually, you know, it changes depending what the situation is.
And it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Like if you are in Australia, when I was in Australia, of course I need to adapt and learn more Australian culture because I was in Australia. But now you're in Korea, you need to understand and learn more Korean culture.
Yeah.
But of course you're not like losing your Australian culture.
Yeah. But so many people around the world have this like really negative view of intercultural relationships, right?
Yes.
I'm often shocked at things people will just say on videos or photos or that type of thing, that all marriages like this end in divorce, and it's actually really upsetting, like when this is your marriage and this is your relationship. So people are really ignorant about this, but at the same time I understand some of it, because if you look like historically, when an Asian person, especially an Asian woman, was marrying a white guy, she had to give up her culture completely, right? So like you look at Korean women that marry like American soldiers after the Korean War, and they had to go to the US and just like disregard all their culture. And then also in Australia after World War II, there was a lot of Japanese women that married Australian men, and they had all these classes of how to be Australian. Like there was no consideration for their culture and that. So no wonder so many of these marriages were like not good marriages, or they failed because you had this like white supremacy of like these Asian women had to adapt like that, and their culture wasn't respected. And in Korea there's still so many negatives, because women that marry Korean men through arranged marriage, they have to still adapt to Korean culture so much.
Yes.
Like there's still so much pressure.
Ask you to be Korean. But how?
Of course you're going to have trouble in a marriage like that. We've actually seen a lot of success stories, like with emails and stuff from people that are older couples, like couples in their 50s and 60s who are international, and they're absolutely fine. Like there's so many success stories out there, but people always want to focus on the negative. And the thing that people always say is that, oh, you will get divorced because of cultural differences, right?
Yep.
I don't think people break up from cultural differences. People break up because of their inability to deal with cultural differences. So that comes from like their personality and stubbornness. So that is more personality than actually the cultural differences being the problem.
And also it doesn't make sense. Like if because of the cultural difference, we are getting divorced. But what about the people from same countries?
They get divorced as well.
They divorce as well.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Yeah, it's such a like, I don't know, almost confirmation bias of people like wanting to see things only this way. Yeah.
And really good and important thing in marriage is communication.
Yes, talking to each other and talking about feelings and everything and just talk. And that's something that we do a lot. Like last night we felt we had a lot to talk about just because we were busy for a few days.
Yeah.
So we were up until like 4 a.m. talking about stuff just because that was a priority. That was more of a priority than sleep at that moment.
Yep.
Like just catching up with each other and like how we're feeling and that type of thing. So people often think with international relationships or intercultural relationships that how can you communicate? You speak different languages, but like the actual language is not the key to it. It's your communication style and understanding each other like that.
Yeah, my English is not perfect, but I understand what she's saying.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand her feeling.
And there's so many relationships where people speak the same language, can be from the same town, go to the same school, and they don't understand each other at all.
And they don't talk to each other for like 3-4 days,
Yeah.
sometimes 1 week, living in one house,
Yeah.
together, sleep in one bed.
Yeah, and
How come
they
this
don't have that
possible?
communication.
I can't do that.
Yeah. Because of course we are best friends, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Like you are my best friend, I'm your best friend, and we work together as well. And working together and doing things like editing videos and that has given us the skills of like conflict resolution, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I think being team and working together make you to talk to this person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you need to mention about the other stuff, and if there's some problems, or we need to have communication, like conversation all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, if you are stubborn and you don't want to talk to your partner, but you have to work. What can you do?
Yeah, that's right. So we learn like conflict resolution for things that are just work related, but that we can have in our personal life as well. If we have a big argument, and of course we argue, every couple argues about something, sometimes about the stupidest stuff, sometimes about really big stuff. And so that type of conflict resolution we have in our personal life as well, and we can work things out. And when we have an argument, the argument is not as stressful because we know that in 1 hour we will have worked things out really quickly.
Make a better environment for us.
I think that's a key as well, and that we try not to sulk. Like sometimes people will sulk for days, you know, or be the silent treatment that is so damaging to a relationship. So if we argue, we know that within 1 hour we'll be like, I'm so sorry, and blah blah blah, and we try to learn something from that situation.
Yeah.
So being intercultural, we have to understand how big cultural differences are, right?
Yep.
And I think a lot of people going into intercultural relationships don't realize that. Like it affects everything, like everything you believe or do is affected by the culture that you grew up in. And so I know so much more about Korean culture than I did years ago, and you know so much more about Western culture. So we always know that there's two ways of thinking. So if we're being stubborn on something, we have to acknowledge there is another way to think about this. You can't just be right about everything.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah. We've also spent time in Australia together, and we've spent time in Korea together. So I feel like living in both cultures has given us like a really good base for our marriage as well. Like we can live in different ways and still be happy together.
So I don't care where we live.
As long as we're together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes some of my friends who has been married for like quite a long time, and they give me some advice like how long have you get married together, and I said like 5 years, and then I start be boring life each other, and it's not good to see them every day, right? I just say why? Then why are you with
married?
that person?
Yeah.
I don't think every couples are like that. Some couple might be like that, but some couples are like quite happy together like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we are happier than like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and 1 year ago, and we are happier every single year.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that kind of thinking.
And that mentality. And if you go into a marriage thinking that oh, around this mark it's going to get really boring and you get sick of each other, well, of course that's going to happen if you already think like that. And like you're making a choice to have your marriage like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I think marriage is all about choice. You can't just automatically love somebody for the rest of your life. It doesn't work like that. You know, love changes, and you just have to make the choice every single day that I love this person, so I'm choosing to love you.
Yeah.
Even if you're really annoying today.
I am really annoying person.
Are
My
you-
personality is really difficult. So people out there, you guys are lucky that you never met me.
That's me married to you and not other people.
Yeah, you did a good job. You sacrificed.
I sacrificed everybody
your
else
life. Good job.
to be married to you.
Yeah.
You are really annoying.
I know.
But that's okay because I love you.
Yeah.
And part of me likes it when you're annoying.
Yeah.
Because I love you. So Korean culture is important to you and being Korean is important to you, right?
Of course, I'm Korean, so
Yeah.
of course.
And the more I'm in Korea, the more I realize my Australian identity, and I think being in an international, intercultural relationship makes you realize and the things that you identify with, like in your culture. So I think marriage is about building happiness together and being a team and working for the future, but also being happy no matter what, right? Like, of course, for us, we could be like, wow, it'd be great if we had some super nice apartment and we earned this much money, but we're happy how we are now.
Yes. We talk about what we want to do in the future, what makes us feel better.
Yeah,
and
what our
happier.
goals are, our dreams
Yes,
are.
we just talk about it
Yeah.
and make new plans
Yes.
and things make better for our future.
Another bit of advice I have for marriage is being aware of and apologizing for bad moods. Especially if somebody's really sensitive in the relationship. If you're in a bad mood and you can't get out of it, sometimes all you need to say is like, it's nothing to do with you. I just had a bad day. Don't stress. Don't worry. But if you have a partner that is being in a really bad mood and they're not talking to you at all and you've got no idea what's going on, it's just so damaging to a relationship, right?
Yes.
And sometimes afterwards you just gotta be like, I'm so sorry I was in a bad mood like that. And then, like, everything will be okay. But like sulking and then bad moods that are not apologized for, yeah, I think that can be quite damaging.
My advice is if you see someone and if you wanna be serious with that person, not only thinking about you just love that person, thinking about the cultural difference, and there's so many things you need to think about, and also you wanna meet someone to be happy. So if you are not happy or you are sad all the time, if you can get over it and you guys can change the situation, it will be good. But if you can't, I think you need to think about what is good for you guys.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people can be in love but can be deeply unhappy at the same time. They can be like, I'm crazy in love with this person, it's up and down, it's so emotional, but that doesn't mean that is good for a marriage, right?
Yeah, and also think about the future together. Like think about, I will be happy with this person rest of my life, or I will be sad and then you know, angry all the time.
Yeah.
You need to think about this.
Is it going to be drama for the rest of your life? Because if it's going to be like that, maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah, maybe people think just getting married and if you guys don't like each other, they can divorce. But why you marry if you feel like you are going to divorce, right?
Yeah. Why are you already being negative about it? Of course you have to go into marriage being positive and being like, we're going to be together for the rest of our lives and working on it every single day.
Make the happiness together.
Yeah. One time, many years ago, after I had a breakup and I was quite upset, one of my friends said to me, don't worry, one day you're going to meet a guy and he's going to love you more than you love him and it will be perfect and you'll be happy like that. But actually that is a terrible situation. It's sort of an immature way of thinking it, that it's some type of like win or lose situation. Like if somebody loves you more than them, then you're going to be the happier one or something. That I just think that brings so much guilt and just crap like that. I think the best situation is when both people think they are lucky. Both people are like, I got such a good deal.
Yes. I'm so lucky to be...
Is that the song, how it goes?
I forgot the song.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think marriage should be this like competition or this who loves each other more or that type of thing. It should be like both of you should be like, wow, I am so lucky to be with this person.
Yeah, because if you think that person is lucky to meet me, then you can control that person.
Yeah.
Which is not good relationship. I mean, I can't say not good relationship, but it's not healthy, I think,
Not
because
healthy.
another person should sacrifice, and then one person think that person is really lucky because I'm
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
No, that's not like
Yeah.
both
People,
of them
yeah.
need to be lucky, and they need to think they are lucky.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I have a better, life, I would choose her because
So
she makes me happy.
So no matter what, I make you happy.
Yes,
Oh, thank you.
I'm really lucky. Yes,
I'm really lucky too. Don't make me cry.
yeah, because there are so many pretty girls, and of course there are really good-looking guys and rich, smart, whatever. But I don't think anyone else in the earth love me more than you, and it makes me most important person. Like, really, I am.
Alright, okay, this is how lovey-dovey we get. We tell each other how much we love each other and then we cry. So that's why I wanted to make this video, is because we do get a lot of messages from people wanting advice, and marriage is really hard when you first get married. It's kind of like this big whack in the face of like, oh, now what do we do? There's so many issues to work out, there's so many things we have to work on, especially if it's intercultural relationship. And so I just wanted to say that it is something you have to work on, and there's ways that you can make a happy life, right?
Yes.
And you have to both do it together, and you have to communicate. And so like that's what our advice is. So in this global world, there's going to be more and more international couples, intercultural couples. So even if you're not in one, you can also do your part by not jumping to conclusions and not having hate and all that type of thing. And be understanding and don't jump to conclusions about somebody's relationship. Usually our videos are not as serious as this, so please subscribe if you haven't already, and we do videos about a whole bunch of other stuff, so you can check them out. And there are comics on the blog, and then there's the webtoon, online webtoon, and there's all the social media, and we'll see you later. Bye!
Bye. Love you too.